Alrighty, what's up, y'all? So, my face holds closed here, can't tell. Before we get into the meat and taters of this here video, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the Tunnet team. They gave me, in turn, a shout out for the video that I posted about, fear of death and dealing with all that stuff. I do support the app, and they sent me a message, which was pretty cool, being a part of their motorcycle mental health thread and, putting the name out there for the app and such, but also a particular member, Throttle Dial. She checked out the video and posted a very heartfelt post to the thread shortly after, which was pretty cool. So, I mean, if you guys want to check that thread out, you're going to have to, of course, get the app and join the group and check that there out for yourself. Anywho, so today's video is about intrusive thoughts. I touched on it a little bit in my last video. It was the precursor to why I even started talking about the subject matter in my last video anyway, because if you haven't watched the last video, or the video before that, went to the Memorial Veterans Day, or not, the Memorial Day Cemetery good lord, event to plant roses. And that's walking through a cemetery, there's obviously surrounded by the aftermath of death, and that got me on some intrusive thought stuff, and then I got to the point where I was like, I don't want to die. And intrusive thoughts are unwanted. They're not always necessarily bad. There are some good intrusive thoughts, or benign, not necessarily malignant. Let me just focus a smidge, because nobody ever uses their blinkers. Never trust a blinker. Never trust a car till it turns. Like if somebody's interrupting you during your lunch break and you trying to sit there and eat and they want to talk to you about lunch, that first intrusive thought in your head is, will you get the out of my face? And you just want to be like, "Bop, talk to me after lunch." But you don't do that. It's an intrusive thought. You weren't thinking about that before somebody interrupted Joe Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever. But that thought creeped into your head as a response or result to I guess gonna use the buzzword again, a trigger event. So my event was walking through a cemetery, and I had a malignant intrusive thought, a thought that was unwanted and harmful, right? Actually, there's no thought that can hurt you, but only the actions that you take in regards to that thought. So, just thinking something, of course, it's never bad. Like, you could think, oh, what if I fell off my bike? Like, it's not a bad thought. It makes you more cautious. It makes you react. And, hey, I need to do a safer activity, or I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Or you thinking, if I'm crossing the street, what if I get hit by a car? You would do things to prevent yourself from being hit by a car. Those are just, innocuous type of intrusive thoughts. But when you get an intrusive thought that says, hey, you suck, you're gonna die, you're gonna fail, those are the type of intrusive thoughts that you want to kind of meter. You have to have some type of opposite action to fight that thought, right? Like, you can't ignore it. You can't just ignore an intrusive thought. That is not a recommended way to do remediation techniques. And again, as I say in a lot of my videos, I am nobody but a dude. No psychiatrist, no psychologist, but I have read upon intrusive thoughts, and I have talked to a therapist about intrusive thoughts, and you can't just ignore them. They don't just go away. Like, sometimes they do. They just go away, just like they just appear. But you have to figure out what it is that made that thought pop into your head, right? Like I said, mine was an event, and then all of a sudden I went down this rabbit hole of thinking about all this sad stuff, and then I was sad for a day. And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and I was okay, and I felt that I should talk about it, make a video, right? It's when those thoughts start to compound and expand upon each other and keep pushing you down and pushing you down and pushing you down until you've basically lost the mental game of quit hitting yourself, right?
Hit yourself! Quit hitting yourself! Quit hitting yourself!
It's literally you hitting yourself. It's your own inner voice telling you that you are something negative about whatever it is you have a feeling about. And that can be used as a source of motivation. Like, my biggest issue with intrusive thoughts, and I know this might seem weird, is with the PT test. I'm in the military. If you don't know, I have to run the PT test. I have to pass every year, and it is directly related to me keeping my job. So if you can't pass a PT test, you lose your job. Yeah, you get a couple tries, But after so many, they're like, all right, you're done. I don't care how good you are at your job. I don't care how physically fit you are, how good you look, or how crappy you look. You're a stellar employee, a crap employee. You don't pass the PT test, you don't keep the job. It's very simple, very cut and dry, and it sucks because I'm pretty awesome. I toot my own horn every now and then, but I'm not a crap employee. I'm not a crap airman, and I do what I got to do. And I have had my job threatened a few times over the years by this PT test, and the only person whose fault it was mine. And my brain kept telling me that because I failed, and I had an issue. And ever since then, even when I passed the moments, the months, the weeks coming into my PT test, my brain is like, you gonna fail, bro? This sucks. You're gonna lose your job. You're gonna have issues supporting your family. Your taxes are gonna pile up. They're gonna take your house. All these random thoughts while I'm running, training for my PT test, because this is the event that's triggering me, right? I'm out running, trying to stave off the very thing that I am fearing. And while I'm running, I'm like, yo, this is crap. I'm thinking about my breathing. I can't breathe. I'm running, my legs hurt. Now, in reality, I'm fine. I'm in pretty good shape. Pretty good. I mean, I ain't the best. I look okay. I keep myself pretty upkept. I got I ain't no Idris Elba, but I do all right in the face. I got some dad bod-ish from the neck to chest. I'm about a 7. From the stomach to the waist, I'm about a 4.5 if we're on a scale of 10. And from the waist down, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I got some big old thighs. I got big legs. I got big legs. So anyway, while I'm out there running, I am constantly fighting these intrusive thoughts. Now, it doesn't seem like that's a big deal, but I have experienced failure because my brain wouldn't shut up. I failed a PT test once, and there was no reason I should have failed. I was fine. I could breathe. My legs were fine. It was just I was in my head listening to all the negative things, and I froze up. Done. It was stupid. Career-ending move. I passed eventually, but I'm like, what the I could have kept running after my PT test and been fine. And it was ridiculous. And it was like, this is one of my constant battles. So can you imagine someone who has a deeper, darker, intrusive thought on a daily basis? Woo! That's hard to deal with. So you got to do something to counteract that. So what I do, myself personally, my inner voice, although contrary to what this video illustrates, I hate hearing myself talk. So that works for me. If I hear my own inner voice being stupid, I'm about to hear my outer body hit the ground if these dudes don't pay attention. I gets real snappy at myself, right? Like your inner voice sometimes is basically a bully, and you got to stand up to bullies. So I'll yell back with my outer voice. Like sometimes my inner voice is cool. Like my inner voice knows all the lyrics to every song I've ever heard, but my outer voice, I kind of sound like. Yeah. So to prevent that, I yell back, right? So my inner voice is telling me I can't do something. I'm out here running. I'm about to suffocate. I'm about to fall over. My ribs hurt. My lungs about to cave in. My outer voice is like, yo, almost there. Almost done. Keep going. Keep running. I'm almost done. Half a mile. Quarter mile. 800 feet. 800 feet. I out-yelled my inner voice. You got to overtalk bullies sometimes. You got to put them in their place. And even when you are your own bully, you have to stave that off just so you can progress hot face and make it on to your next level. So I know it's hard, and this was a very light example. Very light example. But like I said, you got some folks out there fighting some real asshole inner voices. And you can go get help. I suggest you go get help. But you are your biggest advocate against yourself sometimes, which is crazy. You got to go out and you got to fight the world. You got to deal with stress. You got to deal with life. You got to come home. And if you get a moment to yourself, you sitting there watching TV or you sitting there staring off into the sunset, and then this intrusive thought goes, hey, buddy, what about this? And then boom, jab to the face. It sucks. But you got to get that guard up. You got to keep your hands up. You got to be ready to bob and weave. Sometimes the inner voice is like a fly. If you're sitting there chilling, all of a sudden, you're looking around, trying to figure it out, and you spend all day trying to squash it, Now you've taken yourself away what you were trying to do to achieve your goal. And it sucks until you squash that fly. So get out there, squash that fly. Keep going. Stick up for yourself, from yourself to yourself. And I'll catch you guys later.